Today on the channel, we got a guy so bad they named a wave after him. From Mythic Legion's Necronominus wave, we got Necronominus.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, back again with another Mythic Legions unboxing and review, and today we got one of the cornerstones of the Mythic Legions. From the Necronominus wave, we got Necronominus. But for all your Necronominus needs and a whole lot more, hit up jaystoysandgames.com, use discount code Kyle, save yourself 15%, yes, 15%. Got to get a deal out there, and Necronominus wave going to retailers like Jay's Toys and Games, February 26, 2025. So if you missed the all-in package, you have another opportunity to pick these ones up. Head over to Jay's, tell them Kyle sent you, and of course, going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging, we're going to talk about it, we're going to unbox it, we're going to talk about it, we're going to see where it goes from there. So without further ado, let's see what's going on with the old Necronominus himself. Big deluxe style packaging here. Almost too much stuff in the package to even comprehend what's going on. This is going to be one of those shelf killers in your collection too that takes up a lot of real estate, so be ready for that. Can't wait to dive into this one. Of course, the Legion logo, loud and proud right in the front right there. Necronominus running wild on the side of the package. Of course, got the blurb here. We're going to read that, see what's going on. Dare I say, see what all the fuss is about as well. Then on the back, we do got War and Peace back here if you want to read about the whole wave, all that kind of stuff. The life behind Necronominus, you can read that. Of course, pause the video if you want to. But let's see what it says about our old friend, Necronominus, the baddest of the bad, like a young froggy fresh out there. Of course, the last of the Dark Four to return to Mythos. And thinking of this, I have all the other three from the Dark Four, and I have yet to unbox them on the channel. So one of these days, we'll get around to it. Just you wait, we'll get around to it. Necronominus is the most powerful of these evil gods. While the Dark Four have no leader, they all defer to Necronominus, for all their powers lead to death, and that is his domain. A vision of pure horror and clad in tattered vestments and wielding the mighty God Razor. Necronominus resurrects an army of the undead to follow behind him. They are a mindless force totally devoted to the Lord of Death and his children, an army that swells as fallen foes are touched by the dark magic of the God Razor to become soldiers for the congregation of the Necronominus. So, a dangerous guy you don't want to cross paths with, that is for sure at the end of the day. But you guys know me, I love a good skeleton, I love a good deluxe figure, I love a good cape like a young Lando Calrissian. See you later, goodbye. Quite the cape going on right here. We'll dive into all this here in a second. We got stuff falling out all over the place, and we got that that factory smell. Oh my goodness. Quite the smell on this one right here. We do got those finger wings in the back right there. A lot going on with that, of course. And then, of course, we do got the old plastic prison, if I can get him out of the said plastic prison. Just like so. We do, of course, got to heat up the joints. You also got to have that silica packet. See you later, goodbye. And there he is in the plastic prison, looking extra evil. That's what he's looking like to me. But I'm going to take this all offline, get him out of the package. We'll be back talking all things Necronominus. All right, time to dive into Necronominus right out of the package here. I will say I had to do some stuff to get to this point of the unboxing. I will say his feet came packed separately in the package. I think that was because if he had the feet on, he would have been too tall to fit in the package. That's my guess there, but the feet snapped in there very easily, just plug and play. Pretty simple to do at that point. Getting into some of the accessories now, I guess the wings, the skeleton wings, we'll call them right here. You do have one set you had to put on there. So at first I'm looking at it like, where do these go? Do they go in his arms? Where do they go? And then you can see the notches. So of course the notches fit in for the right wing and the left wing, of course. But you do have these. They are articulated here. You plug it into his back like we're used to with the Legions. I will say I'm going to have to heat mine up because these will not move at all for me. So we're gonna have to heat that one up. You do get an elbow joint right there, looking good. You also got one at the top up here, and then no articulation in the ends on here. But you do get some movement out of these. Obviously, like I said, a big shelf killer right here. He's gonna take up some real estate once you put these bad boys on his back. But we do have those. You do have to plug and play to get those where you want to be. He also comes with a little bit of a sash type thing. You'll see that when we get into it a little bit more with the glamour shots. But you do unplug the two jewels, I'll say, at the top here, and you plug those in its place, and you're ready to go. So we do have that. We also, like a young Lando Calrissian hanging out in Bespin, we do got a cape with Necronominus right here. Big, whimsical cape. Of course, wired cape. Legions wouldn't do it any different. And I like that there's torn and tattered bits on the bottom down here. Makes a lot of sense for this guy. He shouldn't have a perfectly pressed cape like a young Lando Calrissian, of course, once again in Bespin, once again. But you do got the class up here on the front. I'm not exactly sure where those hook into. I'm not sure if it plugs into the front parts. That's probably it. But I will play with that for the glamour shots once again. But even up at the collar, you do have the wire in the cape. Beautiful black on the outside and then kind of a red-black pattern on the inside. Looking very cool, looking very regal, of course. He's one of the four corners. He better look impressive right there. So we do have that going on. We do get extra hands with him, so you do get 2 gripping hands. We do get 2 more gripping hands here. Once again, vertical, horizontal, how do you like it? Choose your own adventure right there. And then we got the more splayed out hands, the more doom and gloom hands for a skeleton. So we do have those. So you got to, once again, choose your own hand adventure. And then, of course, the old God Raiser, the old scythe right here. Big one, very much like the other guy in the set we already have. I already forgot his name, Maximus the Harvester. We have him with one of these. This one, a little bit more fancy, a little bit bigger as well. Very cool. When you look at it, it just looks like a scythe. However, you look in deep, you see kind of a spine in there. Of course, you got the handles, you got the brown there, and then you got the ornate little doohickeys throughout on here, but it really gets cool up top where you do have the Necronominus. You can see his head there, his skeleton body, holding a very smaller version of the scythe. Very, very cool. And then you got some very ornate look to the scythe in here as well. So a big bad weapon for a big bad dude, I guess is what we'll say there. So we have that going on. But now we're going to dive into the figure himself. Necronominus, probably the most popular guy of the wave. I guess that's to be determined for sure. But we do have that going on. And we're going to start with the head. We got this huge, I want to say like a cone kind of thing, but it looks like feathers up inside here, and then you got a very ornate wrappings around the top of it. Once again, it looks like a spine is what it looks like. You got a big spike there at the very top. It goes all the way down to his head where you got the jewel. And I did see somebody post the other day in one of the Facebook groups. It could have been to the Cabal, maybe. Shout out to the Cabal, of course. But it looks like he does have a little skull underneath, right in his forehead. So you lift this up a little bit, and you can see. And apparently there was different ones, so you can get one with like an eye in there. I personally would have preferred an eye, but it is like a little mouth of a skull inside there. So a skull inside of a skull. It's like one of those Russian dolls back in the day. And I used to do that when I worked at the grocery store as a kid. We used to play pranks on each other because you're working in a monotonous grocery store, working in the frozen food section. You'd have a big box of like potatoes, but inside there I'd put another box and then another box inside of that box. And then whoever had to do the back stock next would be like, what the heck? What's this? Oh, another box. Oh, another box. Just the fun games we played back in the day. But kind of have a little Easter egg there. I don't think the Legion team told anybody about this. I think they just found it out on their own, which is something cool and something fun about that. Always nice to be surprised. Very cool for the figure as well. But your mileage may vary, and you better check yours if you didn't know about it. But right there in the forehead, you got something going on. But then, of course, you got the skull head back behind there. I am a little bit shocked we didn't get a movable jaw on this one. I would have thought for this guy, give him even more personality, have a movable jaw. Not the case with this guy right here. So a little bit unfortunate. However, once again, I guess if you want to get crazy, you can grab another skeleton head, put it on here if you want to, mix it up. But I think you got to keep this. And I guess in my brain, I say, hey, he's the leader. He's stoic. He's not showing emotions. His only emotion is death to you. So that's how I'm going to justify it in my collection. Then you get the ornate kind of shoulder guards all over the place. You got the wings going on. You got 3 skeletons in the back. Just a lot of detail. This is one of those figures where you can look at it quickly, but you're not going to catch everything. You got to just kind of study it and look it over and see what's going on. Dare I say, see what all the fuss is about. And that's what I did right there. Looking very good. You do get that soft good sash, kind of like a, I don't know, almost like a scarf over the top, but a little bit more whimsical than a scarf. But the red and black attack, of course, you got the wire in there. Per Mythic Legions, always putting the wire in there, looking good over the top. I like the looks of that. You do get a belt going on, and I guess it is the Necronominus Championship belt. You got 2 skulls, you got some spikes, you got a bunch of bones hanging off the belt. Just an evil looking guy. And then, of course, he is modest because those skeletons, they're pretty skinny. So he's a little wary of his skinny body. So he does cover up with a nice sash around there, a little skirt around the waist. Nice purple color, once again, torn and tattered. You do got the wire in that as well, keeping it on brand. And then you get down to those shin guards. Those shin guards looking pretty cool down here. There's no doubt about it. Looks to be Gary Carter, circa Expo days for Gary Carter is what it looks like to me, but looking good there. Talked about those feet. They do plug in and out like any other Mythic Legion. You just push them in there. They will stick in. Of course, the bony toes going on to match the bony body throughout. He does got arms that go all the way around. A little bit limited up there at the top, I will say. You do get a single jointed elbow, single jointed back and forth, side to side. Hands removable back and forth, side to side. Head removable back and forth, side to side. Not a ton of movement in there just because of everything else that's sticking out. The bones, the feathers, everything that's going on. You do got the bell joint right there, back and forth, side to side. And of course, those skeletons really good in the gymnastics leagues. They got a little movement right there. And then of course goes up for the big boot. One of the big finishers for skeletons, of course, the big boot. You do get pin knees on this one, single jointed knee. You do get side to side, back and forth. Same thing with the ankles, up, down, back, forth, side to side as well. Does he fit on a ringside collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Can I get him in there? I think so. And like I always say, you want to protect these Legion figures. They're very expensive, hard to find after they're off the market. So you don't want them falling and taking a dive and breaking on your shelf. So he does fit on a ringside stand if that is your thing. We also will have his steed. We will do a separate unboxing for that. So stay tuned for that unboxing here on the channel as well. But the Necronominus, one of the four corners there, and I know a lot of people want to complete all four corners. Going to be really interesting what we end up getting in the future because a lot of it has been around these four corners. I'm personally very excited for that bear. I know my dad, he ordered the bear as well and a few other figures. So a lot of cool stuff coming from the Horsemen and the Mythic Legions. And not to discredit the Cosmic Legions as well. The nice sister line, I guess we'll call it there. Maybe not as popular as Mythic Legions, but some cool stuff and some cool crossovers between those as well along the way. But Necronominus, another very cool skeleton, very ornate, very detailed, very big. Once again, a shelf killer. Going to be interesting to figure out where I'm going to put him on my display. Probably same thing for you as well. But there's Necronominus. What's your thoughts on this guy? A pickup, a pass, long game, no game? Not so sure game, and I'd be interested to hear underneath, what did you get? Did you get the eye? Did you get something else? Did you get the skull head like I did? Let me know what's inside yours if you have checked, and if you do have this one, of course. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel. We got videos every single day, and then some. Would love to have you a part. Make sure you subscribe to both of those. Check out the Patreon for early access to all the videos between both channels, plus tons of bonus stuff. Your best way to support the channel, as you guys know, hopefully by now. Sir Paul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, and now on TikTok. So for Necronominus, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
We're going to the end of the line.